The other team that I've been really impressed with, and we really have to take note of, is the Phoenix Suns. They are now second in the Western Conference. They have leapfrogged both the LA teams. Now actually have a game. They're a game ahead of the Lakers and only 2.5 back of the Utah Jazz, who seem to win every night. The Suns are 16-3 in their last 19 games and are third in the league in net rating. They are one of the slowest teams in the league in terms of pace, with Paul and Booker living in the mid range and being the offensive engines. And this team has found contributions from a lot of different guys, like a Dario Saric, like a Frank Kaminsky, like a Mikal Bridges, and then of course Cameron Payne. And so just interesting that they're getting a lot of great effort from these different guys. And the questions going forward for them is, are these guys going to be ready when it becomes playoff time? Because a lot of them haven't played in big games yet. And the other biggest question mark for this Phoenix Suns team is Deandre Ayton, because he has the potential. He's a number one pick. He has the potential at 7'2", 250 to be one of the most dominant centers in the league. And he has shown flashes of it. When he wants to really impose himself on a game, he can. And with the league moving towards slightly smaller and more skilled lineups, he has the potential to really take over games for this Phoenix team. He's been decent. He's a great screener for Paul and Booker, and he lives in the mid-range game. He likes to shoot it when he has open look, but I think really, like, what I have been hearing from people recently is he needs to dial up the intensity. Um, I know when we were kids, they're always the gentle giants, and this is something that this is an idea that I'm stealing from other podcasts I've listened to, but I really think it applies to here, where he needs to go out there and be like, I'm going to, if not block you, I will cause you physical damage every time you try and score on me. And just level up the intimidation and level up the physicality, because he has the ability to do it. He's so physically imposing that if he can do that and he can provide a little bit more of just energy and physicality on both ends, then he's a perfect piece to put with Paul and Booker, and the ceiling on this team uh, raises indefinitely, because this Phoenix team has been playing really well already, and there's only room to grow.
It's interesting. You talk about the best big men in the league right now, and it would be Jokic and Embiid stealing the show this year. Anthony Davis kind of taking a back seat, but I'm sure come playoff time we'll all evaluate his stock a little higher. And when you talk about those three, you really talk about the skill. So it's when you think about Ayton in comparison to those three, where do you see the gap as being bigger? Like he has more to fill in that intimidation role you're describing, or more to grow into in terms of skill?
Well, you can take a little bit of each from each of these guys' games, right? A Jokic, Embiid, AD, and then even like a Bam, right? If you're thinking guys who centers who had a ton of success last season, and Bam, like, for some reason, still underrated this season. Probably should have been an all-star. He's awesome. And it's a guy like Bam and Joel, where they kind of had that toughness, and even Bam more so, but where, like, he is so prideful on the defensive end. He wants to take every matchup. He wants to block every guy who attacks the paint. I remember that unreal block he had against Tatum in Eastern Conference Finals was spectacular. Just stuff like that, where he really takes pride in the defense and is gritty and gets in there against guys. DA needs a little bit more like that, because Phoenix actually has been willing to switch him out on the perimeter. He's surprisingly fleet of foot for someone his size, and has done a decent job against perimeter players when he's had to switch onto them, which is an incredible luxury to have when you have a guy his size. And then with Joel, like Embiid, when he decides to take over a game, he's truly unstoppable. He'll block anything on the defensive end, and he'll go punish guys in the post on the other end. I don't think the Suns need Ayton to be the punisher on the offensive end, but if they have a defensive intimidator and a guy who's going to rack up offensive rebounds and maybe score in the post when he has a smaller guy on him, that's what they need him to be. They don't need him to be like the high usage facilitate out of the post guy like a Jokic or Embiid, where like they can go and score on anyone, but also if the double team comes, they kick it out. He's more of like, in a screen and roll, if two guys go to Paul and Booker, he's going to get it and score over whoever his matchup is in that point in the rotation. And then with Anthony Davis, like AD's a guy who lives in the mid range, face up, creating his own shot. I think DA likes doing that when he's open on the catch. He likes the mid range. Again, doesn't need to be able to create his own shot necessarily, but someone who needs to take advantage of when he has a smaller guy on him and really punish them with his size. And he definitely has the potential to be, and Paul's been in his ear incessantly all season. Whenever you watch their games, like always a different guy talking to him. And Monty Williams done it. Monty Williams looks a little bit Nick Nurse-ish. Wow, that was tough for me. Nick Nurse-ish this season with the way he's been very flexible with the starting lineup. How Nurse would kind of vacillate between an Ibaka Gasol center, going small at points. Monty Williams has done that too with Kaminsky, Saric, Ayton, kind of free flowing them based on the matchups and what the situation dictates in that point. So I picked Williams for Coach of the Year. I'm feeling pretty good about that right now. And this Phoenix Suns team's been really, really impressive. And it's going to be interesting to see how they perform come playoff time. Because, yeah, just happy for Phoenix Suns fans who had to endure quite a while of crappy basketball. And now they're back. And kind of the first time they've been really good since those Steve Nash years. So shout out to Phoenix. They are on a roll right now and really fun to watch.